Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, is one of the most powerful characters in Marvel and a ranged DPS unit in Marvel Rivals. She's a slippery channel-based attacker that can go invulnerable and wipe out enemy teams with a massive charge of attack, assuming they stay still and don't shoot at her for 5 seconds. She's a great character to pick up for beginners, but she does fall off a bit into the later ranks as players get better at dealing with her. But she never becomes useless, and she's still played even in top 500 lobbies. Her basic attack, Chaos Control, is about a 20-meter distance channel onto a target. This attack deals a basic amount of damage, plus a small percentage of the target's maximum health each tick. The percent of health bonus is not as high as like Wolverine, so she's not a tank shredder, but she can deal consistently reliable damage against most targets. This is an auto-aim ability that will channel into targets a decent distance away from your crosshairs, making it so you can reliably do damage even if you aren't great at keeping your cursor on your target. Also works really well against slippery targets that are constantly moving about. As long as you can hold the ability down and keep your camera close enough to the target, you should be able to chip into them and deal continuous damage. Her secondary fire, Chthonian Burst, shoots out a quick projectile that does a burst of damage. This ability cannot headshot and deals the same amount of damage no matter where you land it. It has 4 charges noted by the chaos energy symbols just below your reticle. These charges will slowly build up, but will build up a lot faster if you're channeling into them with your primary fire. As you're moving about, hurl orbs and constantly channel into your targets. Don't just fire 1 bolt at a time. Usually it's best to fire a chain of bolts dealing surprise burst damage to a target and then using your channel to regenerate them. This Chaos Burst attack does do a small AoE burst around where it lands. So even if you miss your target, you can do a small burst of damage, or if you hit one target, you'll hit the allies that are nearby. Dark Seal is your E ability. This fires off a small orb that when it hits a target, or when you reactivate, will stop for a moment before creating a field that stuns targets within it. Targets that remain in the field will continuously be stunned for short periods of time, every couple of seconds. This ability actually gives you some pretty massive control over areas. Shooting this on a choke point you know your enemies have to go through, and being able to stun their vanguards, stopping them from bringing up their defensive abilities, is really potent. When you're in a duel with a target, you're going to want to try and hit them with this, stunning them and making it more likely you're going to be able to channel into them and take them down. Her left shift, Mystic Projection, turns her incorporeal for a moment and allows her to fly short distances. She gets a burst of movement speed and can move about the arena. When you're in the air, you can hold jump to slowly descend. This combo allows her to get up to high vantage points and then slowly descend upon targets from above, channeling into them and hurling out those orbs. While you're in this form, enemies do see a small red circle and can track you if they're paying enough attention, so you're not completely invisible. This ability has 2 charges and a short cooldown between being able to use them, then a longer cooldown to be able to rebuild charges. Use this for repositioning and for getting out of dangerous situations. Get yourself high vantage points above targets and rain down your chaos orbs upon them. If targets get aware of your location, you can quickly move to a new location using this ability again. This is also really great for taking out flyers. Aerial combat can be really difficult to keep track of your target and land any shots against them, but Scarlet Witch's abilities are homing and makes her really reliable at being able to notice Iron Men, storms, or Human Torches in the air, stealth fly up to them, and then channel into them in the sky, continuously relocating yourself whenever they get comfortable with your current location, and flinging dark orbs into their body, taking them out quickly. Her ultimate ability is Reality Eraser. Upon activation, she shouts really loud and gains the ability to fly rather slowly. She channels for about 5 seconds and then deals 750 damage to all targets within 15 meters of her, annihilating most characters. She gets 100 bonus HP when she begins channeling this, which is really nice to be able to keep her alive a little bit longer, as targets are immediately going to be switching over and trying to take you out when you activate this ability. Unless you have a lot of protection, like a Doctor Strange in front of you or a Magneto able to bubble you, you're going to want to use this from out of line of sight. Begin the channel and slowly fly closer to your targets. Just before the channel goes off, peek out from your cover and annihilate the targets that are nearby. A lot of Scarlet Witches make the mistake of thinking this ability needs to take out the entire enemy team, where in reality, wiping out 2 quick targets is almost guaranteed to win you the team fight anyways. A quick pop out and annihilation of enemy vanguards, or popping out and annihilating their backline strategists or duelists, is going to make sure your team can win fights. So don't get too concerned with trying to get into the entire enemy team, so use this ability to take out targets that are too far from their allies to be able to protect them from you. It can annihilate every healer during their healing ultimate. Both your team and the enemy team have popped something like a Luna ult, and everybody's stacked up on top of each other, taking advantage of the healing effect, is a great time to activate your ultimate, where the targets can't kill you due to the constant healing you're receiving, and you're going to annihilate all of them. She has a team-up ability with Magneto. When her and Magneto are in the game, she gives him the ability to upgrade his basic attack into a Chaos Sword. which makes his damage output significantly higher. While Scarlet Witch is not a complicated character, she takes a lot more work to be effective as you climb up through the ranks. As players get better at reacting and better at aiming, her moderate range auto-aim becomes much more reliability, as targets are going to be better at being able to land headshots on you when you're that close to them. You have to get a lot better at coming in from surprising angles, doing short duration damage, bursting targets with your chaos bolts, and then zipping out. You're not just channeling into targets until they die, that's just a silly way to play this character. Instead, you're doing constant burst damage to targets, moving about, and staying unpredictable. Do as much as you can to channel up your ultimate, because it is a healing ultimate counter. You don't have to worry about powering up the enemy healer ultimates, because you're going to be able to wipe them out if they try and do a major healing play. You have to get familiar with a lot of the map's layouts and know where you can fly about to, as well as where health packs are when you get into a little bit of danger. If you're at off angles and you're not in immediately line of sight of your strategist, it's your job to keep yourself alive. Stop thinking it's only your strategists who have to keep you alive. It's your job to keep yourself healthy as often as you can, and utilizing strategist healing at the right times is appropriate, but also making sure that you know where health packs are and where you can keep yourself healthy is the core to doing better in this game. So now go out, spread chaos, and erase your enemies as the Scarlet Witch. In the next video, we're going to go and talk about the perfect human, Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is a hybrid healer and damage dealer. He's able to do chunk healing and keep his entire team linked together, and revive his entire team. But we'll talk about that next time. Sazaze.